Welcome to Lotus Student Mentor channel. In this session, we are going to study the for loop in Python, detailed explanation with example. What is a for loop in Python? A for loop in Python, especially here, we are going to execute the process, number of iterations. The iterations are known beforehand. And here the iteration is taking place over a sequence. The sequence can be a tuple or a list, or it can be a string or a range. And because of it takes place on multiple times, the code of and executes a block of code multiple times. Now suppose if we take the syntax for loop, the for loop is that for variable in sequence. The sequence is here, it can be a list, it can be a tuple, or it can be a string or a range. What is the variable? A variable is a temporary variable that makes the value of each item in sequence. The sequence, as I mentioned, list, tuple, string or range, which the loop iterates. The loop executes, termination takes place until all the elements in the sequence are traversed, in the case of the list or tuple or string. Whereas in the range, it is also traversed when the condition should be fulfilled. When the condition is completed, then termination takes place, for loop termination. Let us take the example how the for loop works systematically, step by step. The for loop, first the loop fixes the first element of the sequence and assigns it to the loop variable. Second, the block of code inside the loop executes. Third one, the loop moves to the next element in the sequence, repeat the step 2. Then it continues until all elements in the sequence are processed. Finally, once all elements are exhausted, the loop terminates. These are very, very important points how the for loop works. Let us take the example of the for loop. The first example, there are 10 examples I am going to present it, but in this video, the part 1, we are going to present only 3 examples with the practical demonstration. Now here example 1, using for loop with range. The range here, for in range 1 to 6. What is here? The range means, range in the syntax of the range is, that is the initial and the final, and next one is that here nothing is mentioned, there is increment, how much it is. Now here nothing is mentioned, the increment becomes 1. Now print iteration I. What will happen? Range 1 to 6 generates the number, that means 6 minus 1 up to that only, that means 1 to 5 it will be iterations taking place. The sixth one won't be, that 6 is excluded. Now iteration 1, iteration number 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, like that this loop iteration takes place. The output of this program we are going to demonstrate practically here. All the programs, after completing the theoretical explanation of example 1, 2, 3, I am going to demonstrate practically. That is, what is the output? It is iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3, 4 and 5. That is the output for this case, for this example. Coming to example 2, for loop, again using for loop, that is what I mentioned here. Example 1 only, for I in range 1 to 6, it will be the output iteration 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that it will be printed. Now let us go to example 2, iterating over a list. What is iterating over list? First one is the range, example is over a list. The list here, it is fruits equal to apple, banana, cherry. This is the list. Now for fruits in fruits, for fruit in fruits. Now print I like. Now in the place of the fruit, it will be iterated number of times. The first fruit traversing, next traverses to banana, and next traverses to cherry. The output becomes I like apple, I like banana, I like cherry. That will become the output here. That means traverse one after another. The next example here, it is iterating over a string. Now here the word equal to Python, for letter in word, print letter. What will be iterated here? Letter 1 by P, next below that Y, next iteration, next one is a T, next iteration H, next one is O, and next one is N. Each character, it will be like iteration takes place, but what we said, no, letter in word. So the output here, the character will be printed here line by line. Now you see how it will be printed, PYTHON vertically. Now let us see the example demonstration, practical demonstration of this each example here. This is the what? First example, that is example was using for loop with range. The range, for in range, this is what I had considered before. Now Control S and going for running. Then the output becomes, you see, iteration 1, 2, iteration 1, iteration 2, iteration 3, iteration 4 and iteration 5. Now let us see Now suppose if you make it, as I mentioned, 6 means 6 will be excluded. Now if you make it 8 something, now 8 won't be printed, 8 will be excluded. That means range 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 iteration will be taking place. Up to that iterations will be printed. That's what here. Now Control S. Now what will be the output here? The output is that one iteration 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thus we can see how the for loop is working with range. Now suppose if we give 2 value, then what is the meaning? Starting one is starting point, up to end is the 8, then increment of what? 2, 2. Then what will be iteration taking place? You can see it here. The range becomes, what will be the range? 1 increment to 1 plus 2, 3, iteration 3, 3 plus 2, 5, and 5, and iteration 5 plus 2, 7, 2, 2, 2 increments. Now let us see in the range. You can give it the range 1 to 20, 1 to 20, and you make it as 5, increment is 5. That means the starting value is 1, final value is 20, in between what is the increment? 5. That means iteration 1 will be printed, then after it goes to 1 plus 5, 6. Let us see. Now you see 1 plus 5, 6, 6 plus 5, 11, 11 plus 5, 16, 16 plus 5, 21. That won't be printed, it is crossed. The loop becomes out of that one. That's what how the iteration, the for loop with range. The next to go to next example. What is that example is? Iterating over a list. What is the iterating over a list? This is the apple, banana, cherry. Now let us go to run. Then how it is taking place? You see, I like apple, I like banana, and I like cherry. If you want to add, you can add it also cherry number of times. One more times also you can add. Cherry can be printed, or papaya something. Apple, as apple is there, banana, cherry is there. Jamun, we'll write jamun. The jamun. You can see in Python, if you are not format, syntax is not format, that it won't, it shows in different color. If it is in right format, is the uniform color it follows, all light green. Now let us go for what will happen here. I like apple, I like banana, I like cherry, and I like jamun. That will be printed here. Come on here. I like apple, banana, cherry, jamun. How you can understand that? You can understand how the loop is transformed for fruit in fruits. That means it is a traverse in the iteration from apple to banana, banana to cherry, and jamun, like that, a traversing, and finally it is over. Then loop becomes out of the for loop. Okay, thus we understood the concept of iterating over a list. Now what is the third example? The third example is that iterating over a string. Suppose I have written here Python. Now let us see, let us execute how it will be. Now you see Python. Now if you want to write, I love Python programming, I like Python, I like Python programming. Okay, now you see how it will be executed. Yes, I like each and everything. You see, I like Python programming. So this is what the over loop, for loop application in the case of the string. That means iterating over a string. I hope you understood. There are three examples for loop in this part in this video explained. One is iterating over a range. Next one is iterating over a list, and third one is iterating over a string. Thank you for watching.